Andy. Man to man, break.
It's high school football now. Presented by Fort Town Magazine with Eric Epler and Andy Shay. Time for a look at Central PA football. Here are Eric Epler and Andy Shay.
All righty, welcome to another fabulous edition of High School Football Now. I am Eric Epler from Penn Live. He is Andy Shay from Fourth Down Magazine and some other organizations. I don't want to tell everybody else your secrets. But we are here for another full hour, 60 minutes of live football talk. We got a big show. Let's just put it this way. Big show. It's a big show. We had a lot of big finishes, and there's a lot of big guests on the show. It's big. That's it. Do I have to say anything else?
Nope.
Right.
I miss your goatee already, though.
I'm sorry. I had to get it shaved down. It's like the 5-week Terradome, and then it catches things. There were a couple like flies in there, soup, all that stuff. Can't do it anymore. I had to get it cracked off. Got the whole thing buzzed. We're good to go. Whose is that? Jeez. All right, let's run down for the viewers what's coming up in the next 60 minutes. Quarter number 1 is the week that was. We're going to go over, we're going to bounce around District 3, talk about some of the big finishes from week 1 or week 2 or maybe week 3, whatever it is. We don't know. It's COVID, so it's a fluid situation. But we'll talk finals. We may even have a couple surprise guests from one of the big finishes from the week that was.
Nice teaser.
That's right. We won't clue you in on that yet. Quarter number 2, we are pulling out what's hot, what's not. Andy and I kind of bounce around and look at some of the things that we really like about this football landscape. Some of the things we don't like. So hence, what's hot, what's not. Quarter number 3 is always player interviews. We bring the guys in that knock heads on Friday night, sometimes Saturday afternoon, sometimes Saturday night. And we talk to those guys. We got a couple Cedar Cliff Colts that are going to join us. Gannon McMeans and Trenton Smith. They are going to be with us in quarter number 3. And of course, our picks and predictions in quarter number 4. Whew. All right, let's fire it up.
Yeah. Let's get going and talk about some of the games we got to take in person, watch on live stream, et cetera, et cetera. I think you have to start at West Shore Stadium with Cedar Cliff's 35-34 double overtime victory against a Berks Catholic team that they decided to take the game for, and Berks Catholic on Tuesday. So they basically had 2 days to prepare for Berks Catholic. Lower Dolphin that was Cedar Cliff's original opponent, COVID-19. It became a casualty. That game became a casualty. Cedar Cliff was like, we are going to find another game, and they got Berks Catholic, and boom, whale of a football game.
This is great timing, great work ethic, because just to lose a game and reschedule a game in a matter of about 64 minutes is fantastic. That's how quick Cedar Cliff rolled in this one. Berks Catholic had been looking for a little bit, but Cedar Cliff's like, we lost the game, pick up the other phone, the bat phone, right to Berks Catholic, we'll take it. This was a tremendous football game. It came down to a 2-point conversion, a busted 2-point conversion. Well, it wasn't really busted, but it came up about.
Yeah, it wasn't busted. It was stopped.
Maybe this short, Cedar Cliff came up with a stop in double overtime, 34-30 or 35-34. I had this game as a pick'em. I thought it was going to be down to the wire. I did not anticipate double overtime, but I had a 35-31 final put on this game. It played out just like I thought it was going to be. We always talk about Cedar Cliff. We talked a lot about Gannon McMeans last year, the first-year quarterback, did a great job. We talked about some of their guys up front who did a great job, and of course, Jaheim Morris, their all-time leading rusher, who graduated, did a fantastic job for them. Was just a tremendous workhorse. But we also talk about Cedar Cliff just being hard to beat.
Yes,
being hard to beat. They play with heart. They do.
Don't go away.
No.
They don't go away. So, and And I think they were aided in this one because remember they laid an egg against Cocalico last year, and everyone knew that game was over at halftime in that district final, and it was just so disappointing. Then they had to deal with COVID. Now they finally get to play, and you got to go out and play Berks Catholic. Berks Catholic went right down the field. Opening drive scored. Morris, his younger brother came back, kickoff return for a touchdown, bang, like that ignited the fire, and then 3-and-out punt for Berks Catholic. First play from scrimmage, Gannon McMeans to Trent Smith, 55-yard touchdown. There wasn't even 3 minutes and 45 seconds gone in this game, and it was 14-7 Cedar Cliff. Yeah. So it ignited early. It settled in. It was back and forth. It was tit for tat. It was just a really good football game, and Cedar Cliff got the result. That's the bottom line. It was a pick-em 50-50 game all the way. It was was he in, was he wasn't in. I think maybe we'll ask the gents about that in quarter number 3.
I think so, yeah.
But, Cedar Cliff's 1-0, and that is a notch in your belt victory for sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's continue here with the week that was. Central Dauphin at the Speedway, 62-10 over Chambersburg. This one we thought it was just going to, Central Dauphin's offensive line. I mean, it could be by year's end if everybody stays healthy and this and that. This could possibly be their best offensive line, in my opinion. But they've got some ways to go to match those, those hard charges from 2011 and a few other groups. But we eventually thought
that offensive line at the end of last year was executing ridiculously good.
Don't get me wrong. You're right. That's what I'm saying. 2011 and 2019, that it's tough to get to those points, but these guys I think have potential to be that good. Like I said, they're not there yet. But I think we eventually thought the lean was going to take care of this with Chambersburg, who have some nice guys up front, but they're just not as deep. And the guys were playing right. And Central Dauphin's actually able to play almost a full offensive line and start a full defensive line as well. So that's huge when you come into a game like this. Yeah, so the usual suspects pick them. I mean, Max Mosey had a nice game. Shamar Joppi had a nice game in this one. Of course, Timmy Smith, the All-State LB. Had a really nice one in this one. So it just sort of got away from Chambersburg, and they never really sort of matched up in any part of this one.
Mosey was 235 and 4 touchdowns. Joppy had 132. Smith was over 200 total yards and 4 touchdowns. And by the way, he's an all-state linebacker. That's the one number that struck me was CD average 11.4 yards a carry as a team, right? Yeah. When you roll up 422 and still average 11.4, you had your way up front. So that's no surprise. So, all right, moving on. Let's keep it moving. Here, does this score surprise you? Cocalico 35, Anaheim Central 19.
Yes, it surprised me a little bit. And not the Cocalico won, because this was always going to be a drag out, we thought. And Cocalico beat them last year too. So it wasn't like it was a big surprise that Cocalico beat them. The way they beat them was a surprise to me. I mean, more than the 16-point difference was the fact that they ran all over the place.
I mean, up and down.
I don't know. What did they have, 460-some yards?
463. That is a huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And it just – I really thought I haven't seen Anthony Brasa play in person. Haven't seen him yet. I thought maybe we were getting a little overexcited from what he did in week 1, and then he goes out and doinks the Barons for 256. So okay, I get it now. So I think the fact that they had that much success running the football, and I know Cocalico's flex bone is not easy to defend, but that's pretty eye-opening to me.
Yeah. All right, Altoona 28, Cumberland Valley 14.
This surprised me. That's the number of first downs for Cumberland Valley.
They barely scratched out 100 yards of offense.
Right, and half of that was on one chunk play early, the bomb.
and Altoona dropped 358 on them on the ground only.
Yeah, they had 200-yard rushers. Well, they had one 200-yard rusher and one 100-yard rusher. Marcus Gray had a field day in this game, the quarterback for Altoona. He was the one guy you needed to really keep the restraints on. He's been around a good time. He's a good ball player, fast, and the outcome. First of all, the outcome was a surprise because Altoona had one Commonwealth victory in the 2 years that they've been back to the Mid-Penn, and the way that they executed their game plan and how fast they played against Cumberland Valley and what they did defensively against Cumberland Valley was very, very impressive. Very impressive to me. In fact, we got a chance to catch up with a couple mountain lions. Surprise! We're going to chat with a couple guys right now. All right, we were lucky enough to catch up with a couple mountain lions from Altoona High. They had a big week one victory over Cumberland Valley, 28-14. Coach Nedemeyer, Marcus Day, thank you so much for joining us. We promise to make this brief but memorable. What's the atmosphere like now at Altoona?
I'll speak, and then I'll let Marcus go ahead and talk about it.
Sure.
It's amazing. It's finally great to have that first week one win under your belt.
I know.
Yeah, if I can speak for the kids a little bit too. I mean, as it was for everybody, it was a long summer. These guys put in probably 12 weeks of just wearing a helmet, and to have the opportunity to be able to play and not be shut down, it was pretty good. So we were happy to get out there on the field Friday night.
Marcus, what is that like for you guys? I mean, you're chomping at the bit so much to get on the field and play, and you're probably after 12 weeks of just with each other, you're really eager to get out and smash some heads with somebody else in some different uniforms. So not knowing that we might not even get to this point, what was that like for you guys?
It was definitely a part of the process. We were out there 3 times a week for a long time, it felt like. And then we finally got out to heat acclimation, and then it all started rolling.
I know it's a very short ride from Mansion Park Stadium to Altoona High School, but what was the ride like back to school on Friday?
It was exciting.
Yeah. He says with a tempered smile, right?
Yeah. Coach, maybe I'll ask you the same question. What was it like? Or did you have alternate
It was pretty neat. We had a decent amount of people in the stands. It came out that we were allowed to get 33% into the stadium. So it was a good atmosphere. I feel like we may have had a few more fans if it was allowed, but these guys, they've prepared so well, and what they've done is they've made it easy on the coaching staff. We're pretty senior laden. Marcus is one of 24, 25 seniors that we have. So that helps. Anybody that's ever coached and knows and has had a group that's that large, they take a lot of the pressure of some of the things that you don't have to worry about coaching. And Marcus has definitely done a nice job being one of the 3 captains to step up and take care of those things for us.
Hey, Coach, everyone in the early stages of any football game, especially early in the season, you're sort of prodding and poking, right, with your offense. You're looking for what you can do, what you can't do, what they're showing you, what they're not showing you. What did you find out, say, relatively early Friday night that said, you know what, we can run the ball right at them and go right at them? What was it that told you run the ball and run it often, irregardless of what your game plan was?
Pretty much just what I talked about. Those 24 kids that are there. Unfortunately for us last year, we had to play a lot of underclassmen. We were calling a lot of names that were 10th graders and 11th graders. We only had, we finished the year with 9 seniors. So a lot of the kids' names that we're saying this year are the same exact names we were saying last year. Obviously, Marcus being one of those names. And, we're fortunate to have him back. But he'll be the first one to tell you also, our kids up front are doing a really, really good job. We have gotten so much better on the offensive line from that last year to this year with just the understanding of some simple things with what we're doing. And, in the offense that we're running, if we can't run the football, then we have some problems. But no, it was that. That's our game plan, and we're just a lot better at things that we were doing last year.
Marcus, excuse me, we get, as writers and obviously fans, we get fixated on numbers, all the time. But when you roll up 256 against the Cumberland Valley, which I'm sure you know by now you did that, that's pretty impressive. It's hard to overlook. Did it during the game, did it kind of feel like a big performance? Did it feel that way, or was it just sort of,
No, it definitely.
you know what I mean, going without much effort? I mean, what did it feel like?
I didn't even know until the day after. I thought it was just like a normal game until I saw the paper, and then it was like, wow.
Like, woo! You're obligated to, Coach mentioned the offensive line a little bit. When you run for 256 and throw for 75 and lead your team to a 14-point victory, you're obligated to talk a little bit about the offensive line. So I'll open the forum for that right now.
No, I mean, we have, Seamus Walker at center, Trevor Manley and Ray Boos playing guard, Gabe Sankey and Brian Yingling playing tackle, and we sprinkle in, Aiden Palilla, who is a senior, Manny Miller playing our tight end. Just a lot of kids that are very unselfish and put in the time in the summer, and we attribute, I think having that extended time in the summer definitely helped us. Obviously, we would have liked to have opened with Hollidaysburg back in August, but, we get that opportunity coming this week. But those kids, they just put the time in. Not only on the field, but they're some of the strongest kids that I've ever been around in the weight room also. So they put that time in as well. So it's a tribute to them, man. They've done a great job.
One victory obviously doesn't make a season, Coach. You want to keep this momentum going. It's no secret. It's been a tough climb in the Commonwealth so far for the past 2 years, but a win like this, what does it do for you mentally moving forward? And I know it's a challenging season throughout with different things going on, but what does this victory do for you?
I think it's good mentally. We know we're going to be in a dogfight every week in the Mid-Penn. Every week, we know it, and these kids understand it. As far as the mental mindset of these kids, this group of seniors, they've always won. They have always been successful. So to us, it wasn't really a fluke. We kind of knew what we had coming back, and we knew the kids had worked hard. We do our best to keep them even keeled and know that, we dominated for the most part on the stat sheet, but it was still only 14-7 at the half. And that speaks to, the week in, week out ruggedness of the Mid-Penn. But I was proud of the way we came out in the third quarter. We put together a couple long drives and, to go up 28-7. And those are character builders right there. I think those are things that really give the kids confidence to see that, we can move the chains every 2 or 3 downs. And we have confidence in them and going for it on 4th down. But one thing we haven't talked about is our defense.
That was my next question.
So I'm thinking about it. They hold Cumberland Valley to, less than 100 yards rushing and less than 150 overall, I believe. We got a turnover, and we're just playing fast. We wanted to take the thinking out of it for them and just let them pursue and run to the football and do what they're supposed to do, get lined up and play.
Well, gentlemen, we certainly appreciate your time. Congratulations on a great opening start there with the victory over Cumberland Valley. Keep that momentum going. Stay healthy, Marcus. Make sure to pat those offensive linemen on the back every time you rush for 256, all right? And, guys, we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, guys.
You too.
All right. Thanks, Marcus and Coach Niemeyer from Altoona for joining us here in quarter number 1. High school football now. Let's keep rolling. Let's knock out a couple more games in short order. And why not go to another shocker? I mean, shock me. Waynesboro 22, Colonial Division defending champion, kind of pseudo kingpin, Shippensburg 20. The Indians beat the Greyhounds.
The Indians beat the Greyhounds. It was interesting because Mikkel Holden, the fullback for this one, big night, 126, 2 touchdown runs, pretty much ran right up the middle and ran Chance Eiler, the quarterback, around the edge with keepers. It wasn't a lot of fancy footwork, but it worked. And they came up with a 22-20 win. Shippensburg had a couple big plays over the top to kind of stay in this one, but Waynesboro's off to a tremendous start. That's impressive because Shippensburg was one of the teams we were talking about as being the favorites to win the Colonial, and now you might have to rethink that a little bit.
All right, Wilson off a 41 burger dropped on him by Governor Mifflin, turns around and makes Manheim Township 0-2. Bulldogs 31, Blue Streaks 28. This is all UE.
Yeah, it was, I mean, one of these teams was gonna come back and bounce back. I thought both of them played pretty decent. It just seemed like Manheim Township again just sort of waited to get up to snuff. I mean, James Jones had a tremendous rushing performance in this one.
Oh, fantastic.
237. But he almost carried 30 times, I know, but he was a workhorse for Wilson, and they got, if you look at the statistics, Manheim Township outgained them in yards. They had some really nice performances, individual guys. Quarterback Evan Clark had a nice day. Cade Clancy posted 200-plus total yards of offense. And, so Manheim Township was right there in the stat sheet. But they got to find a way to kind of tighten everything up and put everything together. They haven't done that so far. And now at 0-2, if you do have plans to make it to the postseason, what that postseason is going to look like, there's certainly only a few slots available. I mean, you got to figure Manheim Township now has to win out and need a lot of help.
Yeah, a block punt for a touchdown by Wilson was a big play.
Yep.
I just want to say if you have Evan Clark throw for 285 and 3 and Cade Clancy gets 200-plus total rushing and receiving and a couple touchdowns, 99 times out of 100, you're going to say Manheim Township wins, right?
Yeah.
That's all right. One more for get out. Up on Cottage Hill Saturday, Steel High 43, Upper Dolphin 6. It was the box of chocolate games we weren't sure about. What'd you see up on Cottage Hill on Saturday?
Too many weapons, man. Too many weapons. The debut of freshman QB Alex Irby, who's the head coach's son. We've been hearing a lot about him. He's already claimed a couple offers. 6'2", looks good in the uniform, can dance a little bit, and he's got really good receivers outside. Mekhi Flowers was really good. They got a couple nice efforts. And, of course, their running back, the former Middletown Blue Raider, Odell Green, now with his second season with the Rollers, 190 rushing yards in this one. It was just too much speed. Too much speed for Upper Dolphin. It was a bad introduction to the mid-pen for UD in this one. Just too much speed and too much firepower up on the hill.
All right, that'll do it for a little bit extended quarter number one, but it's a big show as you said at the beginning. All right, coming up in quarter two, we'll give you a little pared down version of the 2020 debut of What's Hot, What's Not. This is Fourth Down Magazine's High School Football Now with Eric and Andy. Stick around.
This is High School Football Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine.
All right, welcome back, High School Football Now, Eric and Andy. Quarter number two, we are presented by Fourth Down Magazine. So we got some big outcomes, some surprising outcomes that we hit you with in quarter number one. Right now, we're going to pull out what's hot, what's not. This is what we think is what we liked and what we don't like, right? Or what are we complaining about, or what's bothering us? All of the above, right? Because we're a couple old men sitting upstairs and doing it. So I'm going to start with you, E. Do you want to go hot or not hot? Your choice.
I go hot.
All right, start it off.
All right, first hot, the truck deck. I don't think you've been out yet, but I've seen this now at two different places, and I really, really like this. It's beautiful in its simplicity. Here's what it is. A lot of people have trucks, okay, open beds in the back, and you buy a piece of plywood, and you slide the plywood in over the wheel wells, okay, and you create a deck.
Yes.
Okay? So on that deck, I saw people standing on the deck to watch over the fences for games. And I also saw people that had beach chairs on the deck sitting and watching the games through the fence or whatever at a high point in the stadium. That's genius. Awesome. It's genius. I can't wait. I think it should be a contest now. We should have colored decks. Maybe somebody bring a couple bags of sand, you know what I mean? Put it on top for your chairs. This would be fabulous. But the truck deck, hot.
That is, it's like NASCAR meets Redneck Yacht Club. All the same.
Yes. Yes.
So, all right, my first hot, I'm going to give it up to the Boiling Spring Bubblers. First of all, you have an 11-game losing streak they drag into 2020. That means it went that extends back into a second season, right?
Yes.
So you've got a full season. That means you were 0-10. And then you have COVID stuff where you don't think you're going to play. You might not be able to play. You start, you stop. That just had to make it so difficult. So to see them end their 11-game losing streak That is hot to me. They hung a 51 spot on Susquehanna. They have the most resplendent purple, yellow trim and white uniforms with helmets you'll ever see. Whoever designed them, they got it right. Congrats to Coach Fryer and the Bubblers. Hot.
Yeah, not only do they have one of the coolest nicknames, obviously in Pennsylvania, but they do have one of the coolest helmets.
Oh, the purple, white with the yellow in it. Oh, and the white helmets, absolutely resplendent. All right, keep going, E. Not hot.
I'm flip over to not hot. I'm just going to expand on what we talked about Cumberland Valley. It's the Eagles. I mean, there was an awful lot of hot, off-season buzz with this team. Obviously, a lot of it generated because Coach Josh Oswalt was back at his alma mater, taking over the program, leading it. And probably, we were anticipating a new direction offensively to get not totally complete away from the wing tee, but more than likely away from that. And we just the debut was just not good. It just was not good offensively, defensively. I don't know what positive things you take back from Mansion Park and that loss to Altoona. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to steal the thunder from Altoona because they played a whale of a football game and deserved to win. But I'm not sure what positives you bring back that says, okay, listen, we were close here or we were close there. We just need to tighten it up and get better. I don't know what those reasons are, to be honest with you. Maybe they come now in week 2 and you just delay that. But there's a lot of work to be done at Cumberland Valley. And, right now, though, I got to put them in the not hot category.
All right, I'll throw in my first hot not. And I kind of promised myself I wouldn't do this, that I wouldn't make any comments on the show about live stream or audio issues or glitches or anything like that because we're living in a crazy world, right? But this one just has to be addressed. I appreciate it, first of all, because I'm not going out yet. I'm hopefully going to go out later, but I'm not going out yet. And it's parents or booster people or volunteers, and we're grateful. And I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to say the game. But if you're going to have an audio guy, don't pretend you are doing a radio from the 1970s audition with a combination of Chris Berman in there and calling guys like, I don't know, Johnny Paradise by the dashboard light, or when a guy's breaking out and hitting a big play and going downfield, don't say, Afternoon Delight from 1976 by the Starland Vocal Band and recite lyrics. I mean, I know that song. I remember that song. And I grew up watching Chris Berman. It's not funny anymore. It's just not funny today. And the audience are parents and students and other people. Just don't do that. That's all I'm saying. It was not hot. And I was giving as much rope as I could. And I had no plan to say anything about anybody, but I was like, oh no, did he just do that? Oh no, he did that. And he did that. Oh my gosh, you can't do that. So that's not hot.
I'm trying to stop laughing for my next hot. My next hot is very pedestrian, but it's everybody following the rules. That's the hot. I've been to 4 venues so far. Everybody's doing their part. I went up to Cottage Hill on Saturday. They put the trigger on me for my temperature before they let me in. Everybody's wearing masks, keeping distance, doing the fist pumps, things like that. So I think everybody's doing their part to try to make sure that this early momentum that we're continuing to, play games. I know there's been some flare-ups and some teams have had to delay the start, but everybody's sort of doing their part and we're doing good. We're doing well, so keep it going and we'll keep watching football.
All right, Epler, I'm going there with my next hot. I'm going there already.
No, not already. No.
I'm going to the Crazy Colonial already, dude.
Oh.
I have to. It's already like halfway upside down, and it was only the first week for football in the Mid-Penn Conference. It's going to be a fun and wild ride again. I mean, you've got the addition of Mechanicsburg and Hannah, right? Then you've got Kingpin. Shippensburg was upset by Waynesboro. Greencastle Antrim beat Hannah. It's already wacky. And we've only played 1 week. Yes, the Crazy Colonial stays on my hot list. All right, one more not hot each, and then we'll get out, E.
All right, my not hot is no mini footballs. You know how I love mini footballs.
Yeah, you love them.
But there's nobody in the stands to throw them to. There's advertising, I'm sure, and donations and to pay for them. The budgets are tight because of all the cleaning supplies these schools need and everything else. So I'm probably not going to see a mini football this year, and it hurts me. It hurts me. I love mini footballs. So not
I
hot.
hear you. So my second not hot is I'm not knocking anybody. It's just weird, right? It's no post-game handshake or acknowledgement
Yeah.
of any kind. Like we're living in a pandemic world. I fully get it. I applaud it, actually. Keep your distance. Stay the heck away from you. You just played, but don't give any more additional exposure. You get away. Stay away. Play the game and then back to your safety corners, right? I'm fully up for that. It's just really weird to see it. It's just, you're just like, it's like something like the end of the movie didn't really end. You know what I mean? Because they didn't shake hands. So it's just weird, and it's not hot, and it's nobody's fault. So that's it. Hot not. All right. Coming up, quarter number 3, actual high school football players. Couple of Cedar Cliff Colts, Gannon McMeans, Trey Smith, join us. This is Fourth Down Magazine's High School Football Now with Eric and Andy. Stick around and enjoy us talking to a couple of Colts.
This is High School Football Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine.
All right, welcome back to High School Football Now. Eric and Andy, it is the third quarter, and that means, as you can see, that we have real live football players with us. Better. Got a couple of the Cedar Cliff Colts in the house, fresh off a 35-34 double overtime victory over Berks Catholic and one whale of a football game to kick off this very unusual and strange 2020 season. First one's number 13 on your Cedar Cliff football roster. That's quarterback Gannon McMean, 6 foot 180. He's in his second year as a starter under center. Number 14, 13-14. By the way, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. That's on the Colts roster is 5'10", 165-pound wide receiver and cornerback Trent Smith. Gannon was 14-24 for 190 passing yards with 1 interception, 2 touchdowns in that win over the Saints. And Trent had 1 very important catch for 55 yards and a touchdown. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna start it off real quick. I'm gonna go back before we go forward here to Friday night. But what was the summer like for you guys? I mean, we've asked this question to everybody that we've come in contact with, either high school coaches or players. What was the summer like for you guys? Not really knowing if we'd ever get to this point of an actual season, a football season. What was the pulse around Cedar Cliff, the program?
On my end, it was actually really different. It wasn't like our normal routine through our summer and spring, and we didn't have any formal practices yet. We actually got canceled. We were having our Monday nights and our Thursday mornings, and then we got canceled. So our coaches were kind of like, you guys have to stay home. You can't be practicing all this stuff. But on our own, yeah, we were going out a lot. One-on-ones, I would get a couple of wide receivers together, and we would go out and throw passes and get our timing down. It was a lot different than how it normally went through a spring and summer through normal football. So it was definitely different and a lot harder to connect with the team than usual. So.
All right, while Epler took us back and asked about the beginning, I do want to go back for 1 second. This is for both of you. Trent, I want you to answer first. And I just want your perspective because, I don't know, in my nearly 30 years of covering high school football around here, it was probably the strangest, most unusual football game I've ever seen was your district championship game. And you guys have been rolling. You had a good end of the season. You were playing well in big games. And then you go to play Cocalico and, basically, boom, early in the second quarter, I think your coach even said, he was like, the game was over. What happened to each of you, and how hard was it to carry that sort of antacid tablet around during the offseason, and then it became an even crazier offseason? But I wanted each of your perspectives as like what happened and why it went so sideways so fast like that.
Well, this year is my first year playing football for the Colts, so like, really can't answer that for you.
Oh, I did not know that. That's my bad. All right, Gannon, you were starting quarterback.
Yeah, I was.
I just wanted to know what happened because I really didn't want to talk to any players after the game because you guys were so ticked off. And your coach was like, he was pretty good about it, but he was ticked off too. What happened?
It was definitely a dry game. Like, we came out of the chute really dry, not a lot of emotions. I'm not saying in the locker room before the game we had a lot of emotions. Like, we were super excited, super pumped up. But when we got onto that field, it was just like we didn't play as a team like we were the whole season. We came out slow, and that showed. And as soon as we came out slow and they took advantage of it, like you said, our coach said it at the halftime, it was over. Like,
It was over.
There was no really coming back. We were just down. And going into the off season after that game, we already knew it was going to be a hard off season just from the fact that we're going to have to work harder, and every mistake that we make in our off season, our coach is going to be like, if you want to play another team like Cocalico and you want to beat them, we can't make these mistakes. And we all knew that coming into the off season, that we were going to have to deal with the fact that we lost that district championship and all of that. And then all of a sudden we're not as a team anymore. And there's no practices, no nothing, not talking to coaches on one-on-ones and stuff like that. And it definitely hurt, and it definitely wasn't the best feeling going out there against a great Berks Catholic team, knowing that your last game was against Cocalico, a very good team, by the way, but just getting destroyed by a good team, and then going out there against another great 4A powerhouse. And we came out, we were excited to play football, and we actually played as a team. Yes, we made mistakes, but we still pulled it together in the end, and it felt really good.
Yeah, that lightning fast start probably helped erase
Yeah.
a lot of any of that fog you might have had. I'm sorry about that, Trent. I didn't know you didn't play last year. That's my bad. All righty, go ahead.
Guys, this is for both of you too. I mean, how do you prepare for a Berks Catholic? Because 72 hours before kickoff, you were supposed to play someone else. They weren't even on your radar to play them. And obviously with COVID and everything, everything gets jumbled almost daily now, schedules. And you guys popped in and say, yes, okay, great. Berks has an open date. We get a call from Lower Dolphin saying, hey, we're not going to be able to play. So, I mean, what was it like preparing for those guys?
Well, for like the defensive end, we're just running over their plays. It was kind of weird because it was like a last minute thing.
Right.
But like, I feel like we did a pretty good job on the defensive end, but we could have like tightened some things up. It didn't help with Jonte getting injured, like one of the star cornerbacks, but we still like fought through and did good on D.
Gannon, for you?
And then on the offensive side, it was actually very, very different, because a Lower Dolphin team, which I'm not knocking, but we all know they're not as fast and athletic as a Berks Catholic team.
Right.
And their defense is actually a lot different. Berks Catholic runs all man and has speedsters and big guys, and Lower Dolphin runs a lot of zone. So for the 2 weeks leading up to who we thought we were playing Lower Dolphin, we were practicing against zone and all that stuff. And then 2 days before kickoff, we got to change completely to man. And actually, which is funny, is the play that I threw to Trent, the first play, we literally put in on Wednesday. Like the day we found out about it, we put it in. And coach before the game was like, he brought me into his office and he was like, Trent's going to be open, throw it to him. And I just told Trent, I was like, as soon as I hike that ball, just get on your horse and run. And
You, Gannon, you do know he was double covered, right? Did you see that and throw it anyway?
yeah, I figured I could fit it, so why not?
Did you know you were double covered, Trent?
Nah, I did not. I was just waiting for the ball because he said he was going to throw it to me.
That is funny.
This is happening anyway. This is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was watching the game on the video and I watched the play, I'm like, he just threw that right into like Burke's step. He was double covered, and that was actually one of my questions. Gannon, was that the play you guys were going to start with, irregardless of who you played, because it looked like that ball's going there no matter what.
Yeah, no, it wasn't actually. That we literally put that in 2 days before game time, and we practiced it Trent, like once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Like there was not a lot of prep going into that. It was a gutsy call, but against a team like Burst Catholic, you got to do gutsy calls like that, and it worked out. So
Certainly did.
Hey Trent, and this is for you too, again. What's the hardest thing about playing football in a COVID world, from a player's perspective? I don't get to ask the player. You don't get to talk to players very much. I'd like to know, what's the hardest thing for you about playing football during this pandemic time?
In my opinion, I thought the hardest thing was like not getting enough practices in, like starting like the practice like with pads and everything late and everything. But yeah, I think that would be the hardest part, was just starting the practices late.
I wanted to ask a quick question to Gary. We don't see a lot of, 10, 12 years ago, you used to see a lot of like quarterbacks would audible a lot. I suppose just because schemes have changed, RPOs and things like that, a lot of that's gone away. Do you have that option, or does that option come from the sideline?
Yeah, we do have audibles. We have basically like our no huddle drill that we do is basically the audibles I can call. But like you said, a lot of our plays are multi-level. Like we have a run with a pass, and the pass also includes the weak and strong side. So like the strong side will be doing something different than the weak side. And then along with that, I have the choice to run. I have the choice to give it to the running back. So a lot of the times I don't need the audible because there's a play somewhere that will beat the defense that they're running.
Right.
So yes, we have audibles, but they're not used much because, like you said, the game has changed a lot.
Definitely schemes have changed a lot. But you remember you see audibles in like NFL 15 years ago, the entire 11 guys would shift. You know what I mean? It would be, you don't see that much anymore because of it. But all right, let's stop talking offense. Let's get right to the actual last play, the one that mattered most. Where were you guys on the field? What did you see? Who did you crash down on? Take us through it.
I was guarding one of the wide receivers, and man, so like I really wasn't looking like where the ball was. I was just focusing on my man. And then I turned around and I saw Burks Catholic, all their teammates had their hands up like it was a touchdown. And like I was confused. I was like, because the refs, they weren't doing anything yet. But as soon as I found out they didn't score, it was a good moment right there.
Did he look short? Was he short?
There was just a pile. I could not see anything.
What did you see, Gannon?
I was actually down on the backside of the sideline. I was probably 40 yards away from the play. I was talking to our wide receiver coach, and
getting ready for the next series.
Yeah, basically we were kind of scheming up some stuff, and I'm pretty sure Coach Gillen was there too. Not too sure though. And we were sitting there talking, and the 2-point conversion started to happen, and we watched it, and like Trent said, all the Burks Catholic hands went up.
They did.
So I was like, my heart sank when I saw that. I was like, we lost. And I was like, and then I saw the refs running in, and they weren't holding up anything. So I was like, all right, hold on. And then out of nowhere, our whole sideline just rushes the field. And I'm like, okay, we won. Like, I don't know. So, and I just rushed the field, and I mean, it was like Trent said, it was an amazing moment. It felt really good.
Yeah, it was great theater. That last 30 seconds was great theater, man. It really was.
It was good stuff, yeah.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to put you on high school football now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine Hot Seat. Each of you get to answer the question, the short answers. I'm going to start with you, Trent. I'll keep you moving. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Cake or pie? Trent?
I would go with like an ice cream cake.
So it's cake. There you go. Cake or pie, Gannon?
Pie, definitely.
All right, Gannon, this one is going to start with you. One person, dead or alive, you'd love to have lunch with.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. Nice. Trent?
I'll go with like LeBron James.
LeBron
I'm really
James.
basketball. Yeah.
Yep. He's the GOAT, going back to the NBA Finals for a 10th time. All right, Trent, this one I'm going to start with you. College football on Saturday or NFL football on Sunday? Which one?
I like college football.
Gannon?
College, definitely.
All right. This one I'm going to start. Gannon, it's you. Your favorite high school football uniform and helmet combination that is not yours. Whose kit do you like?
Honestly, I'm going to have to go Berks Catholics. Their helmets and their jerseys, we didn't see their home jerseys, but their helmets were really nice. So I'd have to say Berks Catholic.
Trent?
Well, then I'm gonna go with us. I'm gonna go with the Colts away. So,
This is a good one. I'm going to start with you, Trent. What's your go-to song right now? The
go-to song. I'll go with Polo G song, Epidemic.
All right, Gannon?
Uh,
Right now, your go-to song.
Probably Drunk on a Plane.
I know that one.
Yeah, that was the last song I listened to before we went on Friday night. So
All right, last one, gentlemen, and thank you again so much for joining us. I'm gonna start with you, Gannon. What is your order at Sheets? Give it to me.
I get 3 crispy chicken wraps with bacon, lettuce, and mayonnaise, and then I get a large boneless appetizer buffalo ranch.
Trent?
I get chicken tender sub with bacon, French fries, and extra barbecue sauce on it with Reese's milkshake.
All right. Take it out, that'll do it.
That's solid.
That's solid.
That's solid.
All right, Gannon and Trent, thank you very much for joining us. Coming up, quarter number 4. You know what that means. Picks and predictions. High school football now with Eric and Andy. You're not going to want to miss these picks. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is High School Football Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine.
Okay, welcome back to High School Football Now with Eric and Andy. We are presented by Fourth Down Magazine, and our weekly picks and predictions are sponsored by Crown Trophy. Go to crowntrophy.com for all your trophy needs. In the chase for the Shepler Cup, which I currently own, it's behind me. We both went 6-4 in week 1. Our losses were identical. Manheim Township losing to Wilson. Cumberland Valley getting rolled by Altoona. Shout out to the Altoona Mountain Lions. Redland. We both picked Redland to lose to Hershey. Interesting. And Manheim Central, they got beat by Cocalico again, and we both picked.
No, we picked Redland.
We picked Redland, and they lost. Yeah.
Right.
We didn't pick Hershey. All right, let's get started with this week. I'm not going to give any numbers because it's a mess. State College is back. Apparently, they're going to go to the Speedway and play Central Dauphin Friday night, 7 o'clock. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, the Lions are back in person. I think today was their first day of school, so now that means contact sports are allowed. Yippee! That means the little Lions are coming down to the Speedway for a barn burner Commonwealth battle. I know they're amped to finally get things going there. Matt Lintel has been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. So far, it's only been practice, though. So I think CD getting their feet wet last week against Chambersburg was pretty vital to have that kind of at least that 48 minutes under your belt. So I will take Central Dauphin here, but I do believe that this will be a whale of a ball game.
I'll take Central Dauphin as well. State College has been living in let's just say a more stringent COVID-19 world bubble, and they get cleared to play and resume contact sport. And then you have these cats on your schedule. I mean,
Right.
Look, we both agree the Little Lions have plenty of chops, right? We know that, right? Don't underestimate them. Don't think they're not going to show up and be a competitive team. Wouldn't it have just been nice for each of these squads to have, a couple, 2-3 games before they traded paint, but it's not going to happen. All right, Steel High. This is a big one. Steel High at Middletown. Both teams are 1-0. This game's at 6 o'clock, E?
No, it actually is 7 o'clock. They started out with a 6 o'clock, but today they announced that they are going to play at 7.
All right, rubber meets the road. Here we go.
Yeah, this to me comes down to discipline up front. for Middletown and for Steel High. I mean, the Rollers, in my opinion, were pretty good in that department against Upper Dauphin, but Middletown is not Upper Dauphin. It's a completely different animal that the Rollers are facing here. So that do your job thing that you hear a lot of coaches yelling
Right.
their players, that becomes paramount in this one for Steel High. They certainly have the skill position players to win here.
They do.
But it's all about those linemen up front. Kind of winning first down defensively is a key for Steel High in this one. And I think those are the guys that really have the ability to kind of make this a Rollers win. I think Steel High will go to Middletown and beat them.
Interesting. I am taking the Blue Raiders. I'm picking Middletown. It's another, second week of the Mid-Penn season
Yes.
hammer right here. The Blue Raiders do have a little bit more in the weapon department than I first thought. I think maybe Steel High probably has more. The key for me is tackling, right? And I just think the Blue Raiders are better at tackling than the Rollers. That's my key. That's why I'm picking Middletown. I'll take Middletown. All right, let's bump down to the LL real quick. Manheim Central 1-1, licking its wounds a little bit. Oh, now you get to play Warwick. Yeah, that's no fun. What do you think about this one?
I know. It's like, man.
That's like
Can we catch a breather? I mean,
Yeah.
Manheim Central searching for something, and now you get the third ranked team in the state in 5A. That's by me. So I have to go with Warwick here. I just think that, everybody loves to talk about Nolan Rucci, but God, the supporting cast, the Bob Locker, congratulations, Bob, on win number 100, by the way.
Right.
The supporting cast is just tremendous too. I mean, and so they have a lot of options where Manheim Central feels like they're trying to figure out some things. Warwick has things pretty much figured out. But this will be the best team that Warwick's faced so far. I mean, it will be. Penn Manor and Conestoga Valley, I think Central's a little bit above grade on there. So I have to take Warwick in this one. They're just very, very potent.
Yeah, I have to take Warwick as well. They have more talent experience at more spots, right? That's simply one the gist of it for me. They've only allowed 13 points in 8 quarters. Manheim Central's defense got some wounds that it needs to lick and some gaps that it needs to fill. This could maybe get unsightly if they don't make a jump for this game. But the balance that Warwick has on offense prevails. All right, let's go back to the Mid-Penn Conference. Mechanicsburg 1-0 at 0-1 Shippensburg. This game just got a little more interesting, didn't he?
Yeah, no, Shippensburg certainly did have a contingency plan for this. I mean, they certainly expected to be 1-0. Hosted this game with Mechanicsburg, who's a newcomer to the neighborhood and the Colonial Division. I know Mechanicsburg probably didn't look great in their week 1, but they did win by 14 points. It was a comfortable win over Westbury. And I think, too, we talk about this first game, and we see what some of these outcomes have been when you get on the field, especially in a season where it's been so disjointed in the summer leading up to the season. So I like Mechanicsburg here. I think Shippensburg will hit on a couple big plays. This could be a high-scoring game, in my opinion. But I do like Mechanicsburg to go to 2-0.
Interesting. We're not this is going to be a key Shepler Cup week. I'm not sure about this one.
I'm big on roadies this week.
Yeah, you're big on. I close my eyes and I have a hard time seeing 0-2 Shippensburg. So I'll take the Greyhounds. And I hope you noticed, Steve, that I did close my eyes when I made that pick.
Yes.
Michael Brubaker, the quarterback for Mechanicsburg, he has a huge impact on the game for the Wildcats, and he plays like a contact doesn't bother him mentality that I kind of like, but then I also think close my eyes, kid, don't get hurt. But he just can't help himself. That's just the way he plays.
Yep.
He could be the difference maker. He's got some weapons on the outside to work with. 0-2 Shippensburg, I need to see it to believe it, so I'm going to take the Greyhounds. All right, back to the LL League. Couple 1-1 squads. Lebanon and Ephrata. What you thinking, E?
Well, I put this one on the slate just because I think this is going to be a really exciting football game. You mentioned 1-1 teams. Lebanon, Isaiah Rodriguez, high-powered offense. Didn't come through last week against a really good squad. And Ephrata is one of those teams that continue to rise. I don't want to have Andre Weidman mad at me. He's going to be around for a few more years, so I don't want that, that problem. So
Right.
I'm gonna take effort here. I think this could be one of the best games. It's, obviously there's not a lot of fans being allowed in, but if this one was packed, they would get their money's worth. I think this could be one of the most exciting games of the week.
I'm going to take Lebanon here, and this is my roundabout. You did effort is rising, right? So, and they picked up a W last week, right?
Mhm.
The Cedars competed with Lampeter Strasburg. It wasn't necessarily a close game, but they were in the game, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you match Ephrata up against LS, you could say that. So there's my ridiculous reasoning for picking Lebanon. Or is it Lebanon? No, I'm just joking. It's Lebanon, right?
That's right.
Back to the Mid-Penn Conference we go. Couple of 0-1 squads searching, looking. Somebody's going to find some answers. CD East at Harry Chapman Field to play the Cumberland Valley Eagles, 7 o'clock, home debut of Coach Josh Oswalt and the Eagles. What you thinking, E? Couple of 0-1 squads looking for answers.
I always it's tough because we always talk about CD East, and it always feels like, if this roster could ever get those 2 or 3 more, whether it's
Right.
down linemen to get some more depth up front, whether it's linebackers to kind of bolster that group, or even playmakers outside, they always feel like there's 2 or 3 short. What we do know about Aaron Blanding's team is they always fight you. They always fight you to the bitter end. They may be 40 points down, but they are clawing at you till the bitter end. I didn't see that against Cumberland Valley in week 1. I didn't see that. So, and remember, CD East was very much in the game against Exeter for a long while, until Exeter kind of went away. It was 14-7 for a long time in that.
It was a long time.
And Exeter is a quality program. So I'm going to take CD East. I'm going to take the road here. Again, I can't right now. I couldn't hang my hat on anything coming Valley where I saw a positive that this is going to get a lot better from week 1 to week 2 for them. If there would have been 1 or 2 things I could have saw out of them, it might be a different pick, but I didn't see that. So I'm going to take East.
Okay, I'm taking Cumberland Valley, and this is why. So this is where picking this game has come to me, because I couldn't really figure it out. I just made the decision. Whoever you picked, I was taking the other team. It didn't matter.
Good stretch.
On short notice for CDs, going on the road, 14-7 with Exeter in the fourth quarter. That's a good first step, in my opinion. Neither has a whole lot offensively, so I just decided whoever you pick, I'm going to take the other one. So that means I take Cumberland Valley.
Perfect.
All right, off we're gonna jump on the turnpike and head out to Berks County. Let's see, Daniel Boone 2-0 and Berks Catholic 1-1. The Saints are. What do you think, E?
They are 1-1. Daniel Boone's had a great start to the season, 2-0. You can't be better than that.
Right.
But I think now you get the Saints, who are legitimately ticked off after not getting that inch and on the 2-point conversion and beating Cedar Cliff. Legitimately thought they should have won that football game. So I think this is a bad place for Daniel Boone to jump in on Berks. So I'm going to take the Saints.
I'm going to take Berks Catholic as well. Let me ask you this, Epler, just real quick. Does this game look differently to you because Boone's 2-0 and Berks Catholic's 1-1?
No, I don't think so. No.
I'm just asking if it had any optic influence. It didn't me. It made me go the other way and go, oh, they're the angry buzzer. Don't forget they've scored 90 points in 2 games, Berks Catholic, but they've also given up 70 points. But I don't think Daniel Boone's ready for this. I'm going to take Berks Catholic as well. All right, the next one it's an LL game. I don't know where we're going, but we're going to go to Columbia down along the river. Octoraris 2-0. Columbia is also 2-0. All righty.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody expected a battle of 2-0 between these teams in week 3 for the LL. I pass Octorara all the time when I go to the beach, so I kind of know where it is. I know the Braves have been playing good football. I know Mike Trainer's been running the heck out of the ball. But I tell you what, I like this Columbia team. I think they're scrappy. I think they've gotten to the point. They've been, there was lean years for Columbia where they were not in any football game, and it was very recent. And now that they've got some gumption and they've got some players and they've got a little bit of pride back that they've earned. Don't get me wrong, they've earned it. I like Columbia. I think the home team here is going to do it. I like the way Steven Rivas is rushing the football. Robert Footman's been playing great at quarterback. He's steady. He's not making bad decisions. And that's what you need to win close games like this. And this game should be close. So I will take the Crimson Tide.
I'm taking the Braves. I'll take Octorara in the town of Acklen. That's 19310. I never heard of Acklen before today. And I travel around this state a lot, but you said you pass on the way to the beach. So I'm going to take Octorara, stick it in the Lancaster Lebanon League. Manheim Township, they are 0-2. Cedar Crest is 1-1. That means Cedar Crest's the favorite, right, E?
No. I think this is the week. Again, 0-2, and no one expected the streaks to be 0-2, maybe 1-1, certainly. But they've also played LaSalle and they've also played Wilson. Correct. That's two 6A powers that they played, and did fairly well against LaSalle. They had to come back in that game to make it an 8-point loss, and they did fight against Wilson, which says something for Mark Evans and their crew. So I think this is the time you get one in the left column for Manheim Township. I just don't see Cedar Crest having enough explosiveness to kind of do what Wilson did and what LaSalle did. So I'll take the streaks.
Yeah, I'm going to take Manheim Township as well. I just can't close my eyes and picture them 0-3 and losing the fourth game in a row, right? That would be their fourth game in a row that they'd lost going back to last season. It's just impossible for me to see that happen. Are they ticked off, or have they lost a little bit of confidence? There's a huge difference, but I think they're more ticked off than anything. And this has nothing to do with Cedar Crest. What I'm saying has absolutely nothing to do with their opponent. They just happen to be the opponent this week. All right, last one. 1-0 Waynesboro, 1-0 Greencastle. Crazy Colonial. Give us the picky. I'm
going to take another road guy. I'm taking Waynesboro. What they did against Shippensburg was impressive to me, especially defensively. I mean, they gave up some big plays, but Greencastle, save from Adam Root, those plays they should be able to keep everything in front of them. Now, stopping them is another question, but I do like the way they're running the football. I like Waynesboro in this one. It's a Franklin County drag out again. It's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm going to take Waynesboro as well, and it's just simply I have a hunch. That's all I'm going to say. I have no football reason to give you. I apologize. It's just the Crazy Colonial. If you'd have thought both of these teams would be 1-0 entering this game after they played, Waynesboro played Shippensburg and Greencastle played Hannah, and you think both of them, you'd say, hey, both of them are going to be 1-0. You'd have got some good odds on your DraftKings app or in Vegas on that one. So I'm taking Waynesboro on a hunch just like you. That's it, E. That's 10 of them.
All righty. That will do it for this edition of High School Football Now with Eric and Andy. Catch us on the Small Play Big Player app and YouTube. Special thanks to our guests, Cedar Cliff standouts, Trent Smith, Gannon McMeans, and, of course, the Altoona duo of Coach Vince Nedemeyer and Marcus Gray. Want to thank our sponsors as well. Come back every week as we zip across our District 3 and bring you football action and opinion. Take care, everybody. Stay healthy. See you next week.
See ya.